Early cartography. Cartography has been practiced since ancient times. For many centuries its highest application was the production of hand-drawn flat maps and charts assembled from information collected visually by explorers and other individuals. Often these early maps were intended for specific purposes, usually for military campaigns or for delineating the boundaries of empires. The ancient Romans and Egyptians, who created maps for these purposes, were among the most scholarly cartographers of their time. The first major technological advance in map-making was the invention of the printing press, first in China in the 12th century and later in Europe in the 15th century. Printing allowed more maps to be made in a shorter period of time, which increased their availability and lowered their cost. The next major advance in map-making technology came in the middle of the 18th century with the development of photography. Photography enabled cartographers to capture detailed surface data, and the invention of photogrammetry. The only way they could get an overview of the landscape for photogrammetric purposes was to climb a mountain or an observation tower. The advent of utilitarian hot air balloons offered new promise, but the balloons were too hard to control and the cameras were not sophisticated enough to capture sufficient ground detail. The greatest leap came with the invention of the aeroplane and true aerial photography. Global Positioning Systems (GPS). Global Positioning Systems (GPS) are devices that give an Earth coordinate position based on the reception of special satellite transmissions. The position is worked out by triangulation, based on the relative positions of at least 3 satellites. Modern GPS units have a simple LCD screen and a simple keyboard for entering codes. These handheld instruments can be programmed to record and display the exact position of the unit. Geographic Information Systems (GIS). Geographic Information Systems (GIS) are a means of storing, integrating, analyzing, and presenting geographic data. A typical GIS consists of a combination of computers, databases, and software, with skilled operators who can process and present different thematic data with reference to a single geographic framework. Each theme is a layer of data that is linked geographically to other data layers of different themes. A GIS can be used to project combinations of geographical interrelationships of the various data layers onto a single map. Conversely, individual themes can be separated from the overall matrix and considered individually. GIS can provide insights into complex relationships not easily studied or observed by other means. Instead of dealing with flat paper maps, cartographers use GIS to produce spectacular three-dimensional images for use in advanced applications such as virtual reality. Remote sensing. Remote sensing is the examination or the gathering of information about the Earth's surface from a distance. It uses special devices, cameras or sensors, mounted on aircraft, satellites, or other spacecraft. The remote sensing satellites are constantly observing the Earth as they go round in predictable orbits. The resulting product is normally in the form of digital images which create a thematic map of the studied area. Online mapping. Online mapping is the process of creating and publishing a map on the World Wide Web. Online maps are not static maps. They allow a user to interact with the map content and do a number of functions such as zooming in and out, panning or moving the map, and identifying features on the map. Some sites offer topographical maps, satellite images, weather and climate maps, demographic maps, and traffic information. A special case of web maps are mobile maps, displayed on mobile computing devices, such as mobile phones, smartphones, tablets and GPS. The mobile web maps can also display context and location-sensitive information, such as points of interest. Google Earth. Google Earth is a virtual globe, map and geographical information program created by the superimposition of images obtained from satellite imagery, aerial photography and GIS 3D globe. It is simply based on 3D maps, with the capability to show 3D buildings and structures. 3D maps. 3D mapping is a way of making 2D maps more advanced and look more real. This is done by using sensors, cameras, scanners, GPS components, and other acquisition devices that capture the real-time 3D images which are created into models incorporated into maps. There are many different applications that have been designed for the creation of 3D maps and visualizations. 3D maps can be done in several different ways, each way creating a different representation of the landscape. They can be photorealistic, where the landscape is created to match the exact landscape, using techniques of overlaying or through photography over a 3D model, or can be symbolistic, where the maps are generalized and symbols designed to show object locations and information. 3D mapping lends itself to very artistic and creative designs, and without guidelines can get very confusing and miss the main point of the map, which is to convey geographical information.